This is an overview video of your Tier 2 for your lesson plan. This includes your lesson plan summary and rebus pictures. So you should have taken the time to review your Tier 1 feedback from your instructor. Please do that before you dive into the second part of this assessment. You're also going to reference the lesson plan guidelines, lesson plan sample, and other assessments. There are several videos specific to your lesson planning project. It's also important to remember that this is a working document, and so until you submit your final project, you are encouraged to make revisions. Ensure that your standards support your objectives. This may require revisions for these elements from your first submission. Again, take time to look at the lesson plan guidelines as well as your instructor feedback. So for this second tier, if you need to revise your standards and objectives, you'll do that and include them again. If they were good to go the first time, you're simply copying and pasting them in here. The next component that you're working on are the materials and supplies. If you've already reviewed the full lesson plan guideline video, then you're familiar with the format of this. So in this section, teaching teams are going to develop a written list as well as a pictorial list of all the materials that you're going to need. Please remember, these are things that you need for preparation and implementation, as well as the cleanup of your project. Rebus pictures are symbols, letters, numerals that represent a word or words. These are really great for young children and adults because you have to use both sides of your brain reading the text as well as looking at the image. Remember, all of the examples included are going to be specific to creating pizzas. So in this case, my text indicates that the materials are mat, pizza pan, and then there's rebus pictures and images. Please make sure that your images are colorful and clear. We want children to be able to easily recognize what the images are. The next component is your lesson plan summary. For this assessment submission, you're going to expand on your initial summary of the lesson plan, develop your introduction, and include at least 8 steps in that activity section of the lesson. Include at least one divergent question that you're going to ask the children. And remember that divergent questions should be part of this activity section, but can also be included in your introduction and/or your transitions out. Just a reminder that it may be helpful to maintain a list of various resources that you're employing during the development of your lesson. Teams may choose to use a Google Doc to share this list. A total of 5 resources are required for your final submission, so you can use a document to compile those resources. This is the Tier 2 lesson plan submission. Name, preschool, and the title of your lesson plan, your 2 standards, 2 objectives, you're expanding on your materials and supplies, and your procedures, including your introduction, very detailed, and your lesson, at least 5 steps. The more the better, because remember, you're going to get feedback from your instructor. Always take the time to review each of the tiered rubrics. This will again reinforce, in addition to the assessment supplement, it will reinforce the expectations for this project. So for this rubric, you have standards and objectives, materials, procedure with your introduction, and your procedures with your lesson. This concludes the overview of Tier 2 for your team lesson plan project. If you have additional questions, connect with your teaching partner or connect with your course instructor.